Hello and welcome to the lecture on extracting information with the Practice Managers Association. In this lecture, you will learn how to extract information from source documents in order to answer exam questions. Now, in the exam, you'll get 3 source documents for each reading paper. So obviously, you'll only have to sit one reading paper if you pass the first time. So these lectures are aimed at helping you understand every paper and passing the first time. So you'll get 3 source documents. They could be a letter, an information leaflet, a web page, anything like that, and you've got to extract information from them. So what we're going to do is just go through a few questions from an exam paper and show you how you would extract certain types of information. You might see the questions come up twice if I'm doing a lecture on positive and negative opinions, because it's the same as extracting information, but I'll just go through the question twice rather than just doing it the one time in each lecture. Okay, so let's look at this first question. Now, the first question that you'll get on the reading paper is asking you what is meant by a certain term or phrase. Now, this question says, what is meant by the term flagship when describing the Westview store? Now, obviously, flagship might not be a word that you know, in which case you can't use a dictionary. So if you don't know it, just try and think of, use your common sense to think of something that might get you a mark. It is only 1 mark, so don't panic if you really don't understand it, but just try your best. Now, in the source document, it does talk about a flagship store, but it doesn't actually tell you what that means. But it does say Westview is our flagship store and you have done exceptionally well to gain a position here. So from that, we can kind of get an idea of what flagship means. And in this case, it kind of means like the primary store, the primary location, or a prominent location, or even the biggest store that they have. Okay, so it's something like that. Okay, so if we move on to another question, this one's 4 marks, and it says, what does Joanna Grange believe is the essential skill that the sales team needs in order to provide fantastic customer service? Now it says provide 3 separate quotations. So the essential skill here being customer service. Okay, so we've just got to try and find things that talk about customer service, or at least find 3 quotations that talk about skills. So looking at the source document, also just to point out that the source documents do tell you which questions that you will need to answer for each document, so you don't have to guess. However, as you get further into the paper, it does say you might have to use all 3 documents or 1 or 2 of the documents, so just be aware and read the questions carefully. So going back to the question, we need 3 separate quotations that talk about an essential skill that the sales team needs. So going through, I'm just going to highlight some of the important sections. It says here you will need to know all the features of the handsets that we sell, but more importantly, you will need to accurately assess individual customers' wants, needs and desires so that you can match them with the right handset. It also says that you need to develop your product knowledge. Okay, so they're the things that I've picked out, and I'm going to use those things to think about 3 sentences. So know the features of the handset, assess the individual customer's wants, needs and desires, and develop your product knowledge. So there's 3. Know all the features, accurately assess the needs, and develop product knowledge. So you've found 3 already. You don't have to explain them, you just have to directly write the exact wording from the source, because it says quotations from the text. Okay, so as easy as that, and you've got 4 marks. Okay, now this one says using documents 2 and 3, summarise 4 positive qualities of the camera on the Galactica 1. So I found this one quite difficult at first, but as you read it in more depth, you will be able to find them. I found it difficult to find some in one of the documents. I can't remember which one it was. Let's have a quick look at the documents and see if we can find 4 positive qualities of the camera. So on text 2, I looked at camera, but actually it doesn't actually say anything about the Galactica 1 on the camera section. That's why it might have seemed pretty difficult. But you can see that it says here, if you want to use your phone to view photos, then big is beautiful, like the Galactica 1's 7-inch screen. So it has a larger screen. Okay. It also says that the new Galactica 1 has a 48-hour battery life, which was quite impressive compared to other camera phones. So we can use that one. We can say that it's the better camera. Okay, then in the second document it says the best camera. Okay, and then it says automatic face recognition feature built into the camera. So for our question, and the last one, I love the lens attachment that makes my phone feel like a real camera. So we get 4 marks for this question, and we want 4 positive qualities, and it has a big screen which makes it easy to view photos. You don't have to quote on this one, you can just write your own sentences, which is what I've done here. It has face recognition, the lens attachment makes it feel like a real camera, and it has a 48-hour battery life, which is impressive compared to other camera phones. Okay, so I've used some of the wording from the sources, but I've also used my own words as well. So it's up to you how you answer that one, as long as you put down 4 positive qualities that you've picked out from the texts. Another thing to point out is that some students like to read the entire text first, or all 3 texts first, which before they answer the questions. I personally don't find that helpful. I skim and scan. I don't read the entire text. I find it a waste of time, but it's up to you how you want to do it. But I just find that easier. Okay, looking at another question. Now this is a 3-mark question, and it says here, according to Joanna Grange. Now, like I said, as we go down the paper, or through the paper, it's less clear. Well, it's not less clear, but you might have to use more than one text. In this case, it tells us according to Joanna Grange. Well, Joanna Grange wrote this letter, so it must be this one. And we want 3 ways you can prepare for your job at Must Have Mobiles before starting. So let's have a look. We have brush up on your customer service skills. Goes without saying that you will need to know all the features of the handsets that we sell, and assess individuals' customers' wants, needs and desires. It's very similar to the other question we looked at, which I understand, but that's okay. So we have brush up on customer service skills, know all the features, and accurately assess individuals' customers' wants, needs and desires. So 3 ways you can prepare, okay? So you can, when it says brush up on your customer service skills, you can then also, it says here know all the features, but actually there is a point where it says you can look at independent comparison websites. You could do that beforehand as well. That's another really good point. Okay, so make sure you pick out all the correct things relatable to the question. Okay. According to documents 2 and 3, how can a customer find out more about the Galactica 1? Give 4 examples. How can a customer find out more? This is a lot easier than it looks. So looking at number 2, document 2, we have customer reviews. Okay, we can look at that. That's the only thing I could pick out on document 2. But on document 3, we can look in store. Okay, we can go online, and we can find out more information by phone. So for our answer for this one, 4 really easy ones: in store, by phone, online, and looking at customer reviews. Nice, easy answer. Okay, what are 3 terms and conditions associated with the Galactica 1? Again, a 3 marker for 3 things. And also, I thought this one was quite tricky because they were hard to see at a first glance, obviously. But if you pay close attention, it says there is a minimum £40 per month tariff. You have a 1 month's free trial, but it counts as 1 month of the minimum 24-month contract. You need to set up a mandatory direct debit. Okay, now that's 4 things I've found. I found 3 on there. Sorry, I'm missing the question entirely. I'm going back to the other one. So the 3 terms and conditions associated with Galactica 1, and we only had to look at this text. So we've found them nice and easy. Minimum £40 per month tariff, not available on pay as you go. 1 month free trial counts as 1 month of the minimum 24-month contract, and there is a mandatory direct debit, and you've earned all your 3 marks. Okay, now I know that seems quite simple and straightforward, but some people find it really hard to pick out the right information. So please have a go at the task that is attached to the lecture and email it back to me if you feel like this is something that you really need to work on, and we'll go from there. Well done, and thank you very much from PMA.